Olympian storm chasing. It's the 18th of the 2nd, 2015. Well, Tropical Cyclone Marcia has developed in the Coral Sea, east of Townsville, and it is tracking southwest towards the Queensland coast. It is expected to cross in the vicinity between St Lawrence and Bundaberg on Friday morning, at this stage very close to Rockhampton and Yeppoon. This track may change slightly as we go on. Let's have a look at this baby spin out here in the last 24 hours. You can see she has developed quite nicely. It is intensified quicker than expected, and you can see it's now on a southwest track straight towards Queensland. So there is a severe weather warning current, and there's a tropical cyclone advice current. The red shaded areas are where severe weather warnings are in place. Darling Downs, or let's start at the top, Whitsundays and Central Coast, that'll be the cyclone warning there, along with the Capricornia region, Wide Bay Burnett, Darling Downs and Granite Belt, Southeast Coast, the entire Southeast Coast, Brisbane, Lockyer Valley, the whole lot. Okay, down into northeast New South Wales, looks like there, Northern Rivers, Northern Tablelands and further down. Okay, so you can see her spinning away. She's quite well defined. She's got good outflows now. I'm going to stop this animation to show you what precedes the cyclone. There is a trough, a surface trough, a deep surface trough developing ahead of the cyclone on the southern side, extending to the southeast. This trough line is moving towards the coast. It will impact the coast first with heavy rain, possibly destructive winds, and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so it will come first in the morning and definitely affect places anywhere south of about Mackay, initially to Gympie and the Sunshine Coast, and then spread further south during the day as the day goes on, but I'll show you that later. Let's move on to the latest Bureau of Meteorology track map for Cyclone Marcia. Issued at 8 o'clock, just some 1 hour ago. They just labelled it a cyclone, Category 1, tracking towards the southwest. Expected to become, or forecast to become, a Category 2 during tomorrow and cross the coast as a Category 2 early on Friday morning. You can see that there is, here's the legend down here. The warning zone is from just below Serena there through St Lawrence all the way down to Double Island Point. That means that's error for margin in case the cyclone moves or decides to change track in the last minute. You can see the track errors there, St Lawrence to about Bundaberg. Okay, but they extend the warnings out a little bit further than that. You can see clearly where the track map is expected. And then in further, you've got a watch zone for gales as the cyclone crosses in over land through the Wide Bay Burnett or down into the Wide Bay Burnett region. We'll get land gales there. There are destructive winds up to 150 kilometres an hour forecast with this cyclone as it crosses the coast. We will go on to the full warnings in Queensland. Let's bring up the summary again. I'm doing this live so you can follow me through with it all. TC advice number 4 has developed, may intensify to Cat 2 before landfall. Warning zone Serena to Double Island Point and all areas in between that. Adjacent inland areas from Yeppoon to Double Island Point. As I showed you the track map, it goes inland, and then later on into southeast Queensland. We'll get to that. Category 1, 65 k's an hour, gust to 95. Movement is southwest. It is really picking up speed here now, people. 22 k's an hour towards the coast. Every 10 hours, that's 220 k's, to give you an idea. Hazards. Gales expected to develop between Serena and Double Island Point Thursday. during the afternoon or evening. Destructive wind gusts to 150 km may develop coast and islands near the centre on Friday morning. Where that centre deviates or changes course or stays on its current path, that will be the focus of the very strong winds to 150 km. Heavy rain will develop coastal areas between Serena and Double Island Point during Thursday, particularly over areas south of the system. Flood watches are current. Normally high tides. Water levels rise above the highest tides of the year. Coastal residents between St Lawrence and Double Island Point are specifically warned of dangerous storm tide as the cyclone crosses the coast. Sea levels rise up well above normal tide, damaging waves, flooding of some low-lying areas close to the shoreline. People should take measures to protect their property as much as possible and follow instructions regarding evacuations of areas if advised to do so by authorities. We'll pass those on as soon as we get our hands on them if that occurs. And that information, your flood maps and all that sort of thing, is available at your local council websites. All right. Recommended action, information from local government, council websites. Cyclone preparedness safety advice to visit disaster management. Punch into Google disaster management Queensland and you can get some tips off there. Emergency assistance, call the QFES on 132500. Next advice is issued at 11 p.m. tonight. That is all about the cyclone, but let's have a look at the severe weather warning first. It is the one that's going to affect most people first up. Again, severe weather warning for destructive winds. These are winds possibly in excess of 125 km an hour. Heavy rainfall, abnormal high tides, dangerous surf. Capricornia, Wide Bay and Burnout, southeast coast and parts of the Darling Downs. Namely, that would be eastern parts of the Darling Downs and Granite Belt forecast districts. We've got a lot of questions. Will it affect here? Will it affect there? Yes. If you're in those areas, yes. To every question, yes. It will affect you if you live in that district. Okay, it is a broad system. It's one of the admins ringing me for a conference call, but I'm running a bit late. Okay, synoptic situation. Tropical low pressure. 900 km northeast of Bundy. Well, it's now a cyclone. It has developed into a cyclone across the coast of Cat 2, extend south. Right here, a trough will extend southwards from the low cyclone and will move into Capricornia, Wide Bay and southeast Queensland coast during Thursday. That's the first hit. Second hit's the cyclone. St. Lawrence, thunderstorms are expected near the trough Thursday morning, likely to move onto the coast between Hervey Bay and St. Lawrence during Thursday morning, and then obviously extend south from Hervey Bay during the day. Thunderstorms may produce local areas of destructive wind gusts in excess of 125 km an hour about coastal and island communities. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that is most likely due to the threat of waterspouts. Okay? Seek shelter. If you see them, be aware they are going to be around. It's prime conditions for waterspout development. Tropical cyclone warning is current. Double Island Point to the New South Wales border. Heavy rain and locally damaging winds are possible from the coast to the ranges between Double Island Point and Brisbane from Thursday. Widespread areas extending into the state's southern border and eastern Darling Downs during Thursday night into Friday. Obviously, as that low comes down into that region, or the trough, extends down south into the region because the trough is ahead of the low. I'll show you that in a minute. 90 km an hour near the coast and ranges. The winds are already picking up out there. We're already seeing high 80 km, may even be gusting to 90 km already at Double Island Point and Cape Morton. These winds are expected to impact the coastlines as well. Water levels obviously exceeding high tides of the year. We have big tides, inundation of low-lying areas. I saw there's some streets and parking areas or something in Brisbane that are closed tomorrow onwards. Obviously they're in a flooded area or low-lying area. A flood watch is current for Capricornia, Wide Bay, Burnett, and we'll get onto that. Locations that may be affected by this severe weather warning: Warwick, Gold Coast, Toowoomba, the Lockyer Valley, the Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, Caboolture, Ipswich, Gympie, Bundy, Gladstone and Rockhampton, and everywhere in between. I can't stress this enough. Silly questions on page, people, when it's the whole area. Getting frustrated. Okay, we have advices here of what people should do. Come over here and have a look at everything on what you should do. Next warning tonight. Let's have a look at the flood warnings. Yes, my phone is going off its head. It always does during these sorts of situations. Flood warning summary, Queensland. No, sorry, I will get to it. That's what happens when you run live stuff. Flood watch, Queensland. Okay, it's not going to fit in my screen. I'll get as much as I can in there for you. Flood watch for the Capricornia, Wide Bay and Burnett, Southeast Coast and Darling Downs and Granite Belt forecast districts. Heavy rain with a trough between Rocky and New South Wales border from Thursday through till Saturday, and obviously the trough and the cyclone. The cyclone will wash out and become a low depression with heavy rain. Widespread falls 2 to 400 mils of forecast. That is a concern. Widespread catchment areas copping 2 to 400 mils. That's going to put the river systems under stress. Locally high heavy rainfall likely, up to 600, maybe 800 in some locations if stationary thunderstorms sit over the area. An area. We can't define where that is until they start. When they start, we'll punch out some extra updates identifying these areas. Heaviest rainfall expected within coastal catchments, severe weather warning, flood watch area. River levels may rise above minor flood level are expected. Heavy rainfall leads to local flash flooding. Catchments at risk: Dawson, Calliope, Boyne, Baffle, Colan, Burnett, Sherwell, Mary, Noosa, Maroochy, Mooloola, Brisbane, Logan, Albert, Gold Coast rivers. That is every single river east of the ranges, right up from Rockhampton to the New South Wales border. They're all on watch. We are expecting flooding in them. We don't know how high. A lot of people should remove stuff. You take the precautions that you feel as though is necessary. If you want to put stuff up onto the tops of tables and all that sort of stuff, if you're in a flooded area, then by all means, go ahead and do it. If it happens, you've prepared yourself a little bit. Have something ready. Have bags packed if you're in a flood-prone area. Just have those safety precautions in place so that if you need to act, you can. And you're not panicking because, oh my God, last minute, the flood's here in 30 minutes and we've got to get out. Just do a few preparations tonight and in the morning and tomorrow, whenever you can. That's my advice anyway. Also extending out to border rivers and Mooney. That's a fair way inland, southern Queensland. Let's move on. I'm up to 13 minutes. This is crazy. I babble too much. Let's pull the map over and have a look at rainfall. Forecast totals on Thursday. These max out at 100. Doesn't go much higher than 100. This one 105 or 120, I think. This is OCF. Okay, so you can see where the heavy rain is expected during Thursday, extending into the ranges. And we have rain and showers inland through central and southern inland Queensland as well, because the winds are driving in so far and so hard. All right, there is your heavy rainfall area. Friday, when it's going to load, Friday, there it is again. Very heavy rainfall from Rockhampton south into New South Wales and extending inland some ways to the ranges at least, maybe onto the Darling Downs. I've seen some high rainfall totals forecast for the Darling Downs, hence the warning, hence the flood watch. Okay, a lot of falls inland. Here are the wind streamlines. This would be 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. These are 850 winds. This is going to indicate and show you the trough extending from Mackay in a southeast manner offshore. That trough is coming this way and it is ahead of the cyclone. Hence the severe weather warning. Don't become complacent. It's not all about the cyclone on this one, people. It's a double edge. trough, then cyclone. Double whammy, hit. Doesn't get much more intense than this. Okay, on to Thursday at 10 o'clock. You can see that the trough has increased in intensity, in strength, wind speed, and it's sliding towards the south in this way like that, and onshore, southwest. The cyclone's pushing it. Let's go on to 4 p.m. On Thursday afternoon. You can see the trough is spread south towards Gympie, Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, and extending inland. So it drives this heavy rain inland a fair bit by the look of that. That's why these areas are mentioned adjacent inland parts of the ranges. 4 a.m. Friday morning. No, let's scroll back. As again, I'm doing this live. Let's have a look. For 1 a.m. Friday morning, early Friday morning, GFS has the cyclone crossing the coast just north of Rocky. This may change. The trough at 1 a.m. in the morning has slid down towards Lismore, extending inland towards the northwest over the Darling Downs and eastern Maranoa even, but the heaviest falls are concentrated closer to the coast. 3-hour rainfall totals could exceed 100 mm in 3-hour blocks, and they can add up quickly up till Friday morning before the cyclone arrives, anywhere from Mackay south to the border and beyond. Let's roll on 4 p.m. Friday. I'm going to start to skip through. You can see that the cyclone has crossed land and is weakening. There's still very strong rotational winds around that. So you get land gales up to 90 k's damaging winds. The rain is still cranking on shore here. Still heavy falls are being produced. By 4 a.m. on Saturday morning, the low is starting to weaken and it is forecast to shift southeast off the northeast New South Wales coast. Here is the animated track from the bomb access model. I will let it play out. You can see the low is approaching the Rockhampton region, crossing and then tracking south in through inland southeast Queensland and then exiting out through northeast New South Wales. Alright, I will reinforce that most of the heavy rain occurs on the southern side of the low or the eastern side of the low. You can see the blue areas are 3-hour precip rainfall totals of 50 mm every 3 hours, possibly higher. Okay, so this model was punching out 700 mils for the Sunshine Coast. Another model was putting out 1300 for the Sunshine Coast vicinity, but they have backed off a little bit now and eased. I wasn't going to mention that last night because these do change. However, the threat still remains. It is quite a unique system to do this, come in and cross. I wasn't born when that 74 one came through, so just wasn't born. But yeah, alright, what else have we got? Over here, I'll show you the Higgins Storm Chasing app, which we are putting out push notifications. It is available for Android and Apple. It has multiple radar sites, lightning, rainfall forecasts, your forecast. The HSE forecast goes in here with this video. It also cranks into the Cyclone tab. If we're running separate systems, they would have separate forecasts. However, because it's one system, I'm dropping everything into the two of them. You can share photos. The bomb warnings are here. Alright, you can just quickly click on that and all the bomb warnings for Australia will come up. You go Queensland after that and there they are. Weather cameras, weather education. There's another page over here of other links as well. The bell up the top is notifications. We can send and have been sending geo-targeted notifications. On this instance, I'm sending them to all users because at least then if someone gets them and someone doesn't that doesn't have the app, they can share it to their family and friends, share the information. So we are sending push notifications to phones. On your phone, make sure that you enable the notifications for the app and the location services. You need to have the GPS or geo-targeting location services active on the HSE app so our notifications can get to you and reach you. It tracks you. If I specifically put one out for Brisbane, the people of Toowoomba won't get it. If I target Brisbane, it tracks through your GPS and your phone. It is a very good tool. We don't abuse it. We only send out notifications that are very important. Alrighty, so that's the HSE app, available on Android and Apple. No, sorry, we haven't produced a Windows app yet. Alright, that is enough from me. I'm going to flick back and have one last look at this system on its way in. Tropical Cyclone Marcia is on her way. Full steam ahead, straight for Rockhampton, and then southeast Queensland. I don't like it. Keeps me very busy. But yeah, there's a lot of worried people out here at the moment. And I'm just asking for everyone to stay calm and just have a bit of a plan in place. Please keep an eye out and listen to ABC Radio and all the official bomb warnings. Any information you can get hold of is good information, and it might calm people down a little bit to know, well, okay, we all know it's coming. We know that there's a lot of heavy rain and potential flooding going to be involved. So the more information that you can get, the more settled you will be, knowing that, okay, well, if this happens, I can do that, or vice versa. Please do not drive into floodwaters. Don't swim in creeks. Go slow in the wet. There's crazy drivers out there. For some reason, when it rains, they speed up. Please slow down. All right, and we will catch you back on page shortly. We will issue the 11 PM updates, and we'll share some other sat photos and images up. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it went for so long, but it's a very important video update. See you tomorrow night.